Hey guys, Sandy here, and welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be playing with a couple Brutus Monroe products. I have the Stencil of the month, and I also have the die of the month. The die of the month is called Floral Tree, and I'm not exactly sure what the stencil is called. I'll have it linked down below. I have an idea for an interactive scrapbooking page using this die. Let's see what I can do. I'm going to start out using a ink blender tool and my embossing ink pad from Brutus Monroe. And eventually I give up on the blender tool and I just put the ink pad straight through the stencil. Now, this stencil is a repeating stencil, so you can match it up and figure out where to match it up and place it down. And that's just what I was doing right there. And I'm going to go all the way across the top of this it's not actually 12 by 12 cardstock because I did trim it down, but all the way across this almost 12 by 12 cardstock. I'm just pushing my stencil, or pushing my ink pad straight through my stencil. Now these are night shift embossing powders, and I know that I am going to be mixing them all up, so they aren't going to be able to go back into their tubes, you guys, but I'm okay with that. It is not bothering me. Look at that. Oh, it turns out so beautiful. Now, as you can see, the embossing powder is really kind of mixed up here, and I'm okay with that. You can save your mixed up embossing powder and put it in its own little tub, and then have kind of a mixed color night shift embossing powder if you want. Now, I accidentally, I didn't accidentally put it on the ground, but I put it on the ground and accidentally kicked it, so my embossing powder went everywhere. So we had to vacuum that up, and we did not get a cool mix of nightshade embossing powders. So yeah, that happened. But you can kind of see on the video where the colors are bluer and more purple, and there's a little bit more pink involved. You can see that on the video. I think you can see it a little bit better at the still photos at the end. In person, you guys, it is absolutely gorgeous. So I am going to go ahead and use this purple satin ribbon. This came in one of the inspiration boxes. I can't remember which one. I feel like I need to start writing down which stuff comes from which inspiration box, because sometimes I just don't remember. Now I do take some washi tape and hold my ribbon down on the back of my paper, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more adhesive just to make sure that that paper stays kind of flat. So here is that beautiful die cut that I made with my die. I did run it through twice so that I could have a front and a back to my window in my album. I am using these great pre-cut embossing sheets. They are a nice thick vellum. It's not too thick where it is kind of like hunky. You know how vellum, there's like it's like Goldilocks vellum. Like vellum is way too thin, vellum is way too thick, vellum is just right. Like this, the Brutus Monroe vellum is just right. So I'm taking some liquid adhesive and I'm just running it with my finger all over the back of this die cut. And that, it worked, okay? It worked. So we have that down, but glue is everywhere. So I trimmed down the vellum a little bit because I didn't completely get it on there straight. And then I think that I'm going to be using liquid adhesive to go ahead and place the other side down. But I don't. I end up getting these like sticky dot kind of adhesive. So all your adhesive is on a sheet, you pull off the backer paper, and then you put your die cut down on top of it, and you pull the die cut off, and you've made yourself a sticker. So basically it's like a sticker maker. I go ahead and use that and pull that off, and I'm going to line it up onto the back side so that the vellum is sandwiched in between both of the die cuts. So there we go. I have that down. I do have to take an adhesive eraser and kind of erase the adhesive a little bit. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I am a messy crafter. I did not go wash my hands after I had my glue on it, and so, you know, you got little glue snot balls everywhere. And that's not super fun, but that's just the way it was. So I know that I'm going to be using this photo of my friends and I holding our wrists together, and we had a retreat, and the bracelets say "Love My Tribe" on them. So I thought I was going to be using the Jawbreaker paper collection, but ultimately I decided not to. I think it's because it's a little bit... If you look at the Jawbreaker paper collection, you think, oh, soft and swirly, but when it's next to the Galaxy and the Embossing, it kind of looks like hard, like it has harsh, hard lines. And I didn't want it to have harsh, hard lines. I want it to even soften it up a little bit more. So it starts out with the Jawbreaker paper pad, but we change our minds. And you know what? That is totally okay. If you are crafting, it doesn't matter what kind of craft you're doing. If you change your mind in the middle of it, if you change your mind at the beginning of it, if you change your mind at the end, it doesn't matter. It's your craft. Have fun with it. It hurts my soul, people. It seriously hurts my soul when people are crafting and they don't like what they're doing. It's not fun for them, and they're just like, I'm still doing it anyway. And I get that. Like, try something once. Try it once to completion. And if you hate it, sometimes you might want to try it again, but sometimes just don't do it. But I just wasn't... I love the Jawbreaker paper pad. You guys know I've used it in plenty of other projects, but for this one, I just wasn't feeling it, okay? So I moved on, and my soul is happy, and that's what matters. So I used a white sheet of cardstock and folded over a very teeny little piece so that it would fit on the edge of the card right here. I used my pencil to just make a line where I'm going to need to kind of flip over the edge, and I do it again on the other side. I am using liquid glue for this because I figured it was going to be the easiest way to get it done. I am going to add just a little bit more adhesive to the hands though. So when you see this, you can definitely see that there is something under there, and I purposely put the photo up at the top so that you would just see the photo through the tree area. I am going to go ahead and write some journaling in the bottom, so you'll be able to see that too, but you'll definitely be able to see that there are two distinct areas behind my little flip-flap thing I have going here. Now I felt like I needed some more white and a little bit more softness, so I grabbed a doily from my stash, and I felt like it was a good match for what I had going on with the die cut. Because of the florals in the trees, it kind of just looks like soft, almost like paper lace, and that's what the doily does as well. So I've got this kind of paper lace repeating. Now that was a aqua pigment background that I had made, and I thought I was going to go ahead and use that as a layer, but it had a little bit too much green in it, so I decided not to do that. I decided not to go the green direction. I decided to keep in the pink, purple, and blue. So I have these word phrases from my stash, and they say "for real." So I'm going to go ahead and place those down, and then I know that I am going to say "friends for real" as my title. So, and I just love that you can flip open this little gate like this and see the photo underneath. I just love it. I think that is a great way to have an impactful photo. So say you wanted something, I don't know, like spectacular under there. Not that this photo is not spectacular, but say you had something that you wanted people to be able to open and be like, well, bam! Like that would be great for this kind of project. This is just something that, you know, I want you to be able to open it and be like, "Aw!" Like that's the kind of reaction I would like to have with that. So I'm trying to figure out if the lowercase letters will work and what the spacing is. And it totally does. It works for me. Now, at first I thought I was just going to use my acrylic block. Now this is an acrylic block from Brutus Monroe. It does have nice little finger handle grips on it, and it is etched. The lines are etched in the acrylic block. This is something that I purchased on my own because I really liked the size of it, and the lines on it just made me happy. So I decided to go ahead and keep using that Watercolor Galaxy paper pad, and at first I just stamped the black on, and this is, guys, this is how much of a lazy stamper I am, okay? So I just stamped the black on. I didn't like it. I felt like I needed to emboss it, so I didn't really clean off the letters, and I just used my embossing ink pad, which means I stained the embossing ink pad, and then I realized when I was using the leftover night shift embossing powders that I really didn't get good enough coverage. So I pull out my Missy. I do add a little bit of anti-static powder bag right over top of it, and I go ahead and do, I think, about 3 layers of the embossing ink on there. And now I'm off to the side grabbing the night shift embossing powders that are, yes, on the floor. Yeah, that's I'm a messy, lazy crafter, people, and you know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the mess. You know, I secretly enjoy cleaning up the room as well. I gotta say, when I came in my room today, I really just wanted to play around with putting stuff away and like combining packages, because I do that to save room. And I was like, no, you need to create. You need to create. So I sat down so I could create. But fun fact, after this voiceover, I think I'm gonna put away some stuff. So here we go. I went ahead and fussy cut out the letters. Again, I'm just using some liquid glue to go ahead and spell out friends, and then I realized I was misspelling friends. I forgot the N, so I went ahead and switched that over, and I'm just gluing those down. So it says friends for real, and I'm going to grab the embossing ink powder again. As you can see, that is where I stained the heck out of it. But that's okay. It's not ruined, it's still working, it's just the pad is stained. So I grabbed those night shift powders on the ground one more time and just went ahead and embossed the hearts. So I'm going to place the hearts in 2 places. Usually I like to have them in 3, but I feel like with this layout I have so much going on that it really doesn't need 3 places of embellishment. And you can kind of see here that night shift embossing powder up at the top. You can see where it's more blue in some areas and more teal in some areas, and a couple different shades of purple as well. And you don't really distinctly see the pink because, guys, blue and like pink make purple, so you don't really see the pink. If I would have embossed the pink separately, you would definitely see that more, but I'm completely happy with how this turned out. So I'm using an adhesive eraser one more time because, like I said, messy, lazy scrapper, and all the glue that was on my fingers went ahead and went onto the front of the die cut there. So here we go. I'm just writing a couple of lines of journaling, and then I'm going to include the date, and that is going to do it for this layout. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to click the links down below if you're interested in any of the products, and I will see you again real soon for another video.